friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 5 of the Bowlback Mandolin project. Neck reset and eventually conversion to left-handed. So in the previous episode I had glued on the fretboard. It's now almost 1 PM the following day. Can't remember exactly what time I did this. I think it was late afternoon, but it's had plenty of time to set up. So I'm now going to remove the clamps. So let's just point the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. And here we go. So I'm going to take this big one off first. Get that out of the way without destroying my light, preferably. Right, so take them off in sequence, or in order, whichever you prefer, for no particular reason. Okay. And let's just get these little ones out here first. Okay, and the last one. Okay. So, moment of truth. Okay, so I can see there is a little bit of glue to clean up, but what I'm really looking for is good attachment. And it's looking pretty good that side. And the ending and the nut, yeah, it's all good. And this side, I don't know how well you're going to see that, but the piece that had broken was just kind of there. It's not going to focus. But literally, unless you knew it was there, you would struggle to find it. In the right light, I can just see the join, but it has lined up absolutely perfectly. So yeah, there is quite a bit of glue to clean up, but that shouldn't be too difficult. See how it's joined on the body. It looks absolutely perfect, to be honest. Again, quite a bit of glue to clean up, but I'm not going to worry about that at this stage. So I'm just going to check the level of the fretboard using, well, it's a square, but they're usually pretty level. So actually that's better than I was expecting. What I mean is, obviously this part is dead straight now. But I knew that there was going to be a bit of a high point here and then a drop off towards there. But it's not as much as I was expecting, to be honest. There is a little bit there. And obviously there is going to be a high point where the fretboard joins the body, but again, I'm not sure how well you'll see that. Probably not that well. There is a little bit of a drop off, but it's not major, and I really don't think that's going to be a problem at all. So, it's looking good. Like I keep saying, a lot of clean up to do, but I'm not going to do that at this stage. What I do want to do is have a good look over it. I know of a couple of points that needs touching in, or need touching in. So you've got a little bit there where there's some finish missing, and also here where the nut kind of joins the body headstock is a little bit missing there. So let's just have a look. I mean, on the back of the neck is a different colour. I don't need to. There's a couple of little marks here that would normally need touching in, but that's going to be covered up by the tuners, so that is not a problem. So I'm just looking at the dark colour, which is the face of the headstock, the surround of the body here, including this large piece here, and as I said, it's got a little bit on there next to the nut. But from what I can see, other than that, I think that's it. Yeah, so it's just those two areas, which is good. So, as I said before, I'm going to use this shellac that I bought. I've actually, so you can see what size this is, I think it's 4 litre. I think, yeah, 4 litres, and I've got 4 of these in different colours, plus another one of what is effectively clear lacquer or clear shellac. So I've got almost 5 gallons of this stuff. I will not use all of this stuff up in my lifetime. 2 or 3 lifetimes I would not use it up. I would have preferred much smaller containers, but this is the only ones that the supplier had, so I had to go with these. I mean, little, 300ml pots would have been absolutely ample for my needs. 4 litres really is overkill, but as I said, this was the only source I could find for these, and this was the only size. Okay, so this is, you can see by the label, it's a dark colour, and when I translated this, it came out as oak. So I've got a nice fine paintbrush here, so I'm just going to touch in these few areas. Now, I'm not sure if you're supposed to shake this or not, but I am. I don't think it will do it any harm. Obviously there'll be a few bubbles in it, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to sort of separate and settle. So I want to make sure we've got all the colour we should have in it. Okay, so remove the top, and it has got a seal in there, which I'll just remove now, and I'll actually pour a little bit in there to use, and then put the lid back on the container so I don't end up with it all over the floor. Okay. So you might be able to see the kind of colour of that. It'll probably be easier to see once I put it in the container. Right, so just gently pour some in there. Won't need much, just a few dribbles really. There we go, that's more than enough. And I think you can see that is quite dark. Yeah, it's difficult to show that, but yeah, it looks pretty dark. It also looks a little bit liquidy to me, but such is life. Okay, so I'll get my paintbrush, just take the excess water off of that. So it's a nice fine paintbrush. When I bought these it said professional paintbrushes, but they were like £2 for a set of 6, so not that professional, but they are much better than the really nasty cheap ones that you do get. So I'll just try and touch in a little bit. Well, so that's already made a decent difference. It may need 3 or 4 applications, so let it dry and then apply again, but I'm literally putting the tiniest amount in there. Don't want it to run, don't want it to bubble up or anything. But as for colour match, I think it's going to be pretty good. It's looking quite good. So a little bit more in that first bit. Looks as though it dries pretty quick, or basically it's probably soaking into the wood. Yeah, that's quite nice. I think that's going to be a good colour match once I've got 3 or 4 applications on there. Okay. I mean, you can still see it. It's because this stuff is so thin. As I said, I probably will have to put 3 or 4 applications on it at least before it will blend in. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry before I put any more on. Now, while that is drying, I want to turn my attention to something else, i.e. the tuners. Now the tuners are good, they're good quality, and they seem to be working just fine, but they're a bit grubby. So I'm going to polish them. So again, I'm not sure how well you can see that. The light's not great. But they're just a bit, dirty and grimy, and they need cleaning. I don't know if you can see that well or not. From me looking in the viewfinder, it doesn't look as though you're getting a good view of that, but maybe it's all right. So yeah, they're just, you know, they're sort of greasy and grimy and dirty, and they need cleaning. And just to prove that, the other set I've already done. So let me just compare that before and after. Really not sure how much justice the camera is going to do this, but this set is, I mean, they've come up like new. They are absolutely brilliant. Yeah, they've really come, literally they've come up like new. They look absolutely stunning. Really nice and shiny. Probably a bit too shiny to go back on this 50-year-old instrument, but you know, they need doing. So let me just put the done ones to one side, and I'll show you what I need to do to clean these. I might need to just angle down a little bit more and then zoom in a touch. That's good. Okay, so what I need is a screwdriver to take out the screws on the back of these, and then the little cog comes off, and then the post comes out, and then I can actually pull the tuner peg out as well. And what I'm doing is, when I take it out, I'm keeping everything in the same order so that it all goes back in the same place. Not that it should make a difference, but sometimes there might be a slight difference in, you know, how they go together. So I've taken those pieces out, and then now if I just turn this, it will pop out. There we go. So keep those all together in a line. Can you see that? Yeah, just about. And I'll do the same with all of them. So screw out first. Then the little cog comes off with a bit of a wiggle. Or sometimes you can pull the post out first. But yeah, you can see they're just a bit sticky, and it's all the dirt and grime on them that's coming out. There we go. And pop the tuning peg out. Okay. Next one. Okay. So you've seen how I'm doing it. I'm just going to rush this bit through and get to the main part of the episode. Okay, last one. Okay. Right, so that's it all apart now. So I'm going to start with the main body of the tuners first, and it's quite sticky and greasy. I think it's like old oil and stuff on there. So I'm just going to take a bit of tissue and just wipe all that off first. Don't really want to be polishing on top of all that dirt and grease. So wipe off as much as I can first. It's a bit difficult, but it'd be a lot more difficult if I didn't take this all apart. That's the reason why, you know, and you see how long it took to dismantle them, just literally 2 or 3 minutes. So actually this one I think is a little bit worse than the other one for dirt and grime. Okay, so that to one side. Now for these I'm using this Autosol metal polish. I think this is actually, you know, part of the car industry. It smells just like Brasso, and I think Autosol might also make Brasso or something similar. But this stuff is really good. I've had this for years, and it's, you know, I don't use it that much because you only need a tiny amount anyway. So just the tiniest little dab on the cloth, that's it. And I'll start to do this part. So it's a little bit tricky to do this, going in between those little hooks, but like I said, it's a heck of a lot easier than if I didn't take them apart. It would be really difficult. Right, so go across that way as well. Turn it around, do the other side. I'll try and get inside those little hooks as well. It's not too difficult actually. And the other side, maybe a tiny bit more Okay. How are we doing for time? Okay. Yeah, this one is pretty bad actually, very greasy. Might need to do it a couple of times. Right, so now I use a little bit of this paper cloth towel to remove that polish and see if I need to do it again. I might do. Ooh. Yeah. Well, I don't know, it might be alright. Yeah, it's looking quite good actually. Right, how are we doing? Yeah, that's quite good. Still needs a little bit more buffing, but I think you can see a huge difference already in how clean that is. Just try and buff that a little bit more. Inside those little hooks. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That looks amazing. So although it's not really necessary, I'm doing the back side as well, just because it's pretty easy to do and I might as well do it. So it's not really necessary because it's never seen, but it might as well be done. I'll do the outside of those little hooks as well, because they will be seen. There is a little bit of rust and corrosion on, particularly on some of the posts. When I did the other one of them had a tiny bit of rust and the other one a fair bit, but it doesn't really matter. It's just a little bit of patina showing the age of the instrument, almost as old as me, and in much better shape. That's looking very good. And I've got to buff it up again where I was holding it, put some smears on there. But yeah, that's looking really good. Happy with that. Okay, both sides done, looking good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same with the posts and the actual tuner. I'm not doing the cogs for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're really, really awkward to do. Secondly, they look perfect. Thirdly, it's really difficult to get the polish out from between the teeth, and you don't really want to leave polish in there. So, onto the posts now. So these are a little bit easier to do. And these are pretty grubby, but they come up so nice once they're polished. This metal polish I'm using is really good. I've used it quite a few times, but I don't use it often, if that makes sense. Right. Yeah, so this one again, don't know if you can see that, there's a little bit of rust on there, but it doesn't matter, it's fine. I mean, I could do something to remove that, but it's only going to come back, so there's not much point, because once the chrome plating has worn off and rust starts to come through, it's there. But like I said, not an issue, it's part of the patina. But if I show the good side of that compared to one that isn't done, I think you can see how much difference that makes. So on to the next one. Actually, I'm going to do one of these because I'm starting to run out of time. I just don't want to be doing this for the whole of the video. Even though there's plastic buttons on here, I'm just giving those a little bit of wipe with this polish as well. I don't think it'll do them any harm. So long as I make sure I, wipe it all off afterwards, which I do, so not a problem. Okay, so make sure I get all the polish out of the threads as well. Okay, looking good. So again, if I compare that one to one that isn't done, I don't know if you can see the difference, but it does, to me it looks a lot different, much better. So that is, it's going to take me a little while to finish those, which I'll do off camera, seeing what I'm doing there. Let me just zoom back out. So I'm going to finish that off camera, and then the next video will be cleaning the mandolin itself, cleaning and polishing, and possibly putting a couple of strings on, basically because I want to check intonation and string action, because obviously before I did this job, the string action was about 12 mil, 13 mil, something like that, maybe a bit more. Whereas it should be no more than 2. So that's the first thing I want to check, and to do that I'll need to put a couple of strings on, put the bridge more or less in place where it's going to go, and just check that out. So that will be part 6. Hope you're enjoying this so far. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to hear that notification bell. In the meantime, please look after yourselves and look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.